Hello everyone, and here I am again with another review. This time it's the Batman animated series Batcycle. And of course this is again a part of the Mcfarlane toy line, which is the 6th scale Batman animated series toys. Um, and this is, I got this from Amazon. Um, this is 48, 49 Canadian dollars, so right around 30 US dollars. And it seems pretty cool. Just showing you the front and the back here of the box. Of course, because this is Canadian, it also has some French um, translations. And of course, it says here that the bike lights up and it has some effects and some instructions here on how to mount the display. So um, not much apart from that, and you have some pictures on the side of the box. So yeah, let's go ahead with the review. One thing that I've neglected to mention that I love about the Mcfarlane line series is how collector friendly they are. With I think some of the packaging of some action figures are in a clamshell, but these one they've managed to put it in a box that you could put in the box after you've done playing or taking photos or whatnot of your toys, and I appreciate that. It shows a lot of love for collectors. Instead of it like just being clamshelled and then sometimes you have to be super careful about opening the box, or else you damage the artwork if there's an artwork on the background or anything like that. So, shout out to McFarlane Toys. They really seem to know their market well. That they're catering to adult collectors, and so I bet boxing might actually cost a little bit more, but they haven't cheaped out on packaging, so shout out to that. Um, so right off the bat, we have the Batcycle here. We again also have like a collector's card, and also an extra head for Batman, right? And it's swappable, and of course you'd have to buy a separate Batman figure for this to for you to have, of course, the Batman as the driver for the vehicle. And I like this helmet. There's a little bit of a shading here, and it's faithful to the cartoon. That's for sure. And you could totally understand why they couldn't make the separate, like a separate helmet that you could put on the figure, because that'll be too cumbersome. But yeah, it's pretty sleek. No complaints here. And then the file card, I'll just try and pop that. So your Batman card is kind of like your usual kind of, I guess, baseball-sized card. So you have the Batman, the Batcycle picture in front, and at the back has a data file. Says Batcycle is Batman's sleekest mode of transport and perfect for allowing the hero to race at breakneck speeds through the streets of Gotham City. So, not too much. I mean, it's nice to have. Probably would have all of these maybe like in a file sort of like card somewhere, or you can just keep it in a box. I kind of, for now, I just kind of want to keep them in the box so that I don't lose them later on. And of course, you would have the Batcycle. You have the Batcycle, nicely packaged, nothing damaged, I think. Oh, okay. So you have the battery hitch here. So I guess this, because it lights up. So time to test that now. See if we had a working one. And there he goes. It's a working one. Let me just shut off the light so that can be seen. So it lights up at the brake light and also at the console and the headlights. That's pretty bright. And then you turn that off with a switch here. at the bottom. So turn that on, light comes on, and turn that off, light goes out. And you know, it's pretty like it. I like this one. It's like very stylish, right? Even the threads on the wheels. I think this is kind of like a rubber-ish material. You know, it's not like tire rubber or anything like that, but it is rubber. And oh, it actually moves. The yeah, the wheels at front, it you know, I mean the steering wheel doesn't move, of course, but you know, but this one moves, and that's pretty cool. So I think you can just have them in poses. Does that center console light up? Yeah, it does. So also these ones, these two portions, they light up, and I like it. It's there's something so Art Deco, especially about these fenders. The way that they're kind of like sleeked at the back kind of reminds me of like the kind of like the Chevys of the 1950s, right? And even this, like this spins, right? And it's reminiscent of those like I guess they're like Mercury cars, where you would have like the fender um, over. Not really sure if like fenders are like a more accurate way to say would be like the tire covers on the side. So this is very reminiscent of that, right? And it's a very very nice detail. Like it's very, like I said, it's very Art Deco, like very 50s. The streaks and all that, and it's simple, but it's not overly simple. You know, it's like sleek, sexy, simple is what I'm trying to say. You know, without it being like too showy, right? So it's very classy. Like I said, this just reminds me of that 50s sort of Chevy Bel Air line, right? And then you have the squeaky wheel, but even the tail, like I guess the fender tail here is very sleek, right? And everything about this just kind of like screams speed in terms of, you know, kind of like how you design the Flash, and you know that the guy is like fast. The same thing with the Batcycle. You know that it's fast and it's also sleek just by looking at it. You know, almost looks like a locomotive if you look at it this way, right? And you know, I guess as long as Batman doesn't have any speed bumps, that would be an issue because it's kind of like a low rider. Um, but you know, it can stand on its own, right? Because it's so, you know, like it goes because of the, I guess, the fenders here. It can stand on its own, but it does come with its own stand. Um, and I'm just trying to get that here. And the stand itself is quite. I don't think this is the first time that they provided the stand. I think from what I've heard, there have been variations of this stand from some other Batman vehicle, Batcycle, and and um, and they've just like sort of like remolded the same for this Batcycle in particular. And so this base actually goes two ways. So this is like the flat sort of base in which, you know, I guess you could probably pretend that that's kind of like in the Batcave or whatever. And then on the other side is kind of like the street level kind of design, where you have like a manhole cover here. And the way to take that is that, you know, the effects just kind of like pop out, and then you can just place it at the back, like so. And then you can place the Batcycle accordingly, right? And it will look like that. So that's pretty cool. You know, I mean, I'll try and see if I can pop Batman onto it, and then try to show you a different angle. Okay, so here's Batman. We just popped off his head, replaced it with a Batcycle one, and I kind of noticed that excuse me, that the skin color is kind of different from the one that came out of the Wave One, and also the one that is on the Batcycle. He seems a little bit pale um, in here in terms of the mouth area. Doesn't really matter. It's just that maybe I don't know. Maybe he hasn't gone sunbathing as Bruce Wayne. That would be my excuse. But anyway, let's see him on the Batcycle. Okay, so here is Batman on a Batcycle, and I have to remove my recorder from the stand, just so that you'd have like a better look at the guy. I mean, I think this is like the best. He's a little bit tall for this. Maybe I can adjust the feet to stand on that feet. But this is kind of like the best pose that I could do for now of Batman. So he does look sleek. I think my only complaint here is that it seems that from the way that the Batcycle is, it seems maybe I need to watch the animated series more. It seems to be like okay for his size, but I think his feet may just be either too big or I just couldn't angle it right for him to like be on the cycle. Like this portion is always kind of going to be like elevated. But it's okay. It's a passing Batcycle, right? And the nice thing about it is that it's because that the stand you can angle the rear is that you could have them in sort of like any sort of like angle that you want, and then you could also sort of like pose the front wheel as much as you'd want. So I like it. Like I said, it's a vehicle, and you know it's one of those iconic ones. I remember many episodes of Batman using the Batcycle. Hold on, let me just close the light so you can see it without any light. And it's quite bright, right? And I think the nice thing about this display, this Batcycle display, is that it lights up his face. So you know, even if you've put like a shadow over it, you could really see Batman's profile, and that's pretty cool. You know, with sort of like the billowing cape at the back. Yeah. So overall, can't complain. You know, I can't wait for the other vehicles to come out, especially maybe like the Batmobile or the Batwing once that's available. So that's pretty cool. Pretty sleek, you know. Yeah, that's cool. And of course, because I cannot resist not doing this, here is the Condiment King on the Batcycle. And this is how he would look like if you put the Condiment King on there. And yes, he is, I think, too tall for the Batcycle. Condiment King is taller than Batman, right? So I think on the at least on the action figure side, but that's how he looks like. He is looking like a mean pickle. I love this. I think I like the Condiment King on the Batcycle better than Batman on the Batcycle. I don't know. For some reason, it just flips me up. Yeah. So there you go. For those of the curious minds of like how Condiment King would look like it with a Batcycle. Of course, his guns would be trailing at the back, but who cares? So, the Condiment King on the Batcycle. So, overall thoughts, I like it. It's an accessory. It's the price is very reasonable, $30 US, 50 Canadian. You know, can't go wrong. Has a lot of like, as you can see, has a lot of play value. Even if you're not just displaying this on a shelf, it's just fun to tinker around with and makes for a lot of like photo opportunities. You know, I could just take photos of this guy endlessly. Yeah, it's what can you say? It's the Batcycle, iconic vehicle from the 90s. I don't really have any negative comments on this, apart from the fact that maybe it may be a little bit too small for Batman or the other action figures. I mean, once I have Bane, or if they release Bane, I kind of wonder how it looked like on the Batcycle. It looks kind of tiny. But yeah, I mean, you just have to have a little bit of like a play or a better position on the I guess on the stirrups, on the cycle stirrups, and then it should be okay. But I'm liking it. Like it looks sleek, it looks fast, and it's uh, it's a classic. So hope you enjoy this review, and hope to see you again next time.